news. What are the odds? What are the odds? Hey, Tony P, what are the odds?
What are the odds indeed? That seems to be the question. It is me, Tony P. This is Tony P. Oddcast. That awesome theme song was Greg Klima. You can find him at klima.com, K-L-Y-M-A. You can find me at TonyPHenderson.com. There's something a little loud. I got to adjust here. I think it's my headphones. Boop, boop. There we go. That's better. If something sounds off, that's why, because I just messed it up. But I was sounding a little too loud. Even I, who am probably the biggest fan of my own voice, it was too much. It was just a little too much. I wonder if there's anything else that's been too much. Have you seen the Oscars? Speaking of too much, I do weird and wacky news from around the world. If you're new here, I don't do entertainment news. I don't do what I'll call real news. I stick to the funny news. But, and this has happened before, you know what? Maybe this is just the case. Maybe this is that case where the real news and the entertainment news and the weird and wacky just all intervene. It's been the talk of the town today, and I was like, I'm not going to talk about this. I was like, I got to talk about this. I got to get this off my mind. Anybody who talks at all has to talk about this. And I guess we'll just see how long I talk about it. If I include I got a wacky story. I'm going to include the wacky story regardless. But let's talk about these dang Oscars. It was funny. I was doing on another show called In Addition. You can look that up in your podcast things. And we stream live on Wednesdays. And we even had a charity stream this week. In Addition was asked to join a charity stream. So there's been a lot of talking this week. And I talked a lot about the Oscars because the Oscars were, at the time of this recording yesterday, they were coming up. It's something I follow. I never miss. I don't think I ever miss them. Even as bad as they are, even when I hate the host, I've just grew up being a big fan of movies and always wanted to make movies. And that's what the Oscars are all about. Celebrating the movies of that year. Sometimes I've seen all the Best Picture nominees. Sometimes I've seen none of them, and it helps me decide what I want to see. It just depends. But the Oscars the past few years, they got problems. We could go on and on and on about that. A lot of which are a lack of diversity. Just the system of how people decide what movie wins. Did you know, there is a body of people that are Academy voters. It wasn't until somewhat recent, and by somewhat recent, in the past 10, 20 years, considering the Oscars have been going on since the late 30s, or the Academy Awards, rather. It wasn't until relatively recent that they started campaigning for votes, where if you go to LA, there's constant billboards about vote for this, vote for that, vote for this, vote for that, for your consideration. And it's ridiculous because it should just be what you like, right? It shouldn't be a marketing campaign, but just like everything else, it's garbage. So yeah, all that to say, last night, Chris Rock made a joke. He said Jada Pinkett Smith would be in a G.I. Jane 2, which I guarantee most people don't even get the joke. Like, who remembers G.I. Jane? The movie from literally, I remember as a fact, came out when I was like a freshman or sophomore in college. We're talking 98, 99. Who remembers that movie? And in the movie, she joins the army, so she shaves her head, and it's a big deal. And Jada Pinkett Smith had a shaved head, a very close haircut. So Chris Rock made the joke. And Will Smith got upset, sort of. He laughed at first, and then she got upset, and he got upset. And he literally got on stage. I know you know this. You couldn't have missed it. And smacked Chris Rock in front of everybody. I was confused. Everyone was confused. I'm confused. You're confused. People thought it was a joke. People thought it was a bit or a skit. Turns out it wasn't. It was crazy. And then 10 minutes later, Will Smith won for Best Actor for King Richard. And like half apologized to everyone but Chris Rock. And won his award. And apparently we've seen later like dancing, celebrating and stuff. So the internet, of course, being what it is, everybody loves drama. Everybody loves dirt and shade and picking sides. If you didn't know, everybody, there's always a side. It's either one or two. It's either A or B. It's either Coke or Pepsi. It's either McDonald's or Burger King. It's either Republican, Democrat. Hell, let's be honest, you know? And so just like everything else, was it Will Smith? Was it Chris Rock? Was it Will Smith? Was it Chris Rock? Who's right? Who's wrong? I don't know. That's a hard question. But I have always been a fan of comedy and comedians. And so there's a bias. There's a definite bias for me. I feel like, having watched it live as it happened, Chris Rock was merely making a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith's haircut. I think is fair game. However, come to find out, she has alopecia. And so everyone's saying he was making fun of her disease. I mean, did he know that? That's my biggest question is, did he know that? You know, it's not like he said, look at you with your alopecia balding head. That's uncalled for. That's inappropriate. But I feel like he was just making a joke of her haircut, but the Smiths took it as making fun of her alopecia, which apparently everybody knows she has. It's like, according to some, like common knowledge. And, oh, she's been struggling with it for a while. I personally had zero idea she had alopecia, more or less was struggling with it. I don't keep up with Jada Pinkett Smith's dermatology. You know, I am not big into entertainment news, but I'm on social media every day. I know enough to kind of know what people are talking about. I have never once stumbled on that, which makes me wonder, you know, did Chris Rock know? Who knows? At the end of the day, I just don't think anybody has a right to get up and hit somebody. I think that is too much. Too much. Because then, you know, everyone's, oh, well, he was defending her honor. Come on, we're not in the 1800s. We're not sword fighting people. We don't do that, you know. He could have defended her honor from his seat, which is what he should have done. He should have said something. Hey, no, cut it out. Boo, stop. You know, or, I mean, she could have said something. She's a celebrity too. Everyone's like, oh, poor Will Smith's wife. Well, it's not just Will Smith's wife. It wasn't like Chris Rock picked on somebody that's not in the industry, that's not in the game. You know, she's one of the players too. She's also a celebrity. She's also an actress. So I feel like I don't know. That's just me. I don't think he was really being as mean and ugly as people want it to seem like. But again, who knows? Just my thought. I still don't think anyone has a right to go up and just smack somebody on stage. What if Chris Rock like hit him back? Now we got a scuffle. We got a scuffle on stage. There's a lot of other elements that I'm going to leave out of it because, well, I'm at 10 minutes and it's very niche. So we'll just leave it at that. That was crazy. Someone said they need to have The Rock hosted next year. No one's smacking The Rock. I'm trying to get like The Rock, y'all. I'm eating better. I've been doing Hungry Root. It's a meal kit. I'm starving right now. I don't know why. I guess I ate a bit of a light lunch and it's a little later than usual. So, dude, I'm legit hungry. Oh, but what am I going to eat as soon as I get off of this? I'm going to make black bean mushroom supreme tacos. Take 14 minutes. I was going to make the burger and fries. It takes a little bit longer, and I don't feel like taking that long. If you want to try the burger and fries, the tacos, you can go to TonyPHenderson.com and get $50 off a Hungry Root. I promise you a real story. We have a real story. No more Oscars. However, a 30-year-old Oxnard man was indicted Thursday on federal charges. Now, this is way more serious than just a smack. Also, who smacks a man? What grown man open hand slaps another man? Like, either punch somebody or don't. I say don't. 9 times out of 10 will say don't. But if you're gonna, a slap. Indicted on federal charges as he was accused of smuggling drugs, you ask? Heroin? Crack? More than 1,700 reptiles. Sneaking 1,700 reptiles into the U.S., hiding some of these animals in his clothing while crossing the U.S. Mexico border. I know a lot of people sneak a lot of things over the border. I know there's a lot of security to try to prevent that. I would imagine it's usually drugs where the return in investment is well worth trying to sneak things over state borders. Who's smuggling these lizards, man? Well, here we go. Jose Manuel Perez was charged with 2 counts of wildlife trafficking, 9 counts of smuggling goods into the U.S., and 1 count of conspiracy after allegedly transporting animals for a black market business. Not to be left out, he was also joined by his sister, Stephanie Perez, also charged with conspiracy. I feel like they need a better term. Like, I just feel like conspiracy has to be something good. You know, like conspiracy to smuggle lizards. That prosecutors allege that between January of 2016 and February of 2022, a span of 6 years, Perez and his sister used social media to buy, sell, and arrange delivery of wildlife. Well, they finally got the guy. He was arrested this year at San Isidro Port of Entry. Authorities said after attempting to cross the border while hiding 60 reptiles, including dozens of lizards and 4 snakes in his jacket and pants pockets. According to the indictment, he told customs officials he had nothing to declare. Then he backtracked and was like, oh yeah, by the way, these 60 reptiles are my personal pets. Yo, I hate snakes. I don't mind other reptiles, but snakes, me and snakes agree to disagree. Like, I don't wish harm on snakes. I just wish them away from me. I don't know how he had 4 snakes. How do you have 4 snakes in your jacket? Period. But still look cool. Like just walking through customs, whistling, like do, spinning a yo-yo or something around. The defendants allegedly advertised for sale on social media. The animals were smuggled from Mexico into the U.S., and he would post photos and videos of him actually getting the animals in the wild. Well, dang, dude, you got all that on your phone? There ain't no way. The animals included Yucatan and Mexican box turtles, baby crocodiles, and Mexican beaded lizards. Just coming to Florida, we got all sorts of crocodiles in Florida. Who's paying for illegal crocodiles? Some animals were picked up by unnamed co-conspirators and shipped by car to El Paso. Let's see here. Once stateside, the animals were transported to Perez's home, first in Missouri, then in California. Well, after all that, Perez faces a maximum of 20 years in prison for each count of smuggling. An additional 5 years in prison for each count of conspiracy. His sister also faces up to 5 years in prison, but he's talking, I mean, that's like 20 years for each count. It's like 100 years, man. You might as well just kill somebody. You shouldn't. Don't ever do that. But you're doing the same time as murders for sneaking a couple lizards in your pants. I don't know how to wrap this up. I think the best way, it's just, what lesson did we learn? Keep them trouser snakes in your pants. It will keep you out of trouble.